Have you ever smiled and agreed to something that hurt you inside? Many people move through life wearing a quiet mask of kindness, believing that constantly saying yes makes them good people. But beneath this surface is a deep fear of rejection and loneliness. People-pleasing is not just a behavior. It is a pattern shaped by past experiences, social pressure, and the human need to belong. Over time, this habit can blur the line between genuine kindness and self-neglect. A people-pleaser slowly learns to silence their own needs to protect their image in the eyes of others. Today, we will explore the psychology behind people-pleasing, revealing how it forms, why it persists, and how a person can break free and build healthier relationship with yourself. People-pleasing is closely connected to how the brain processes safety and belonging. From a psychological standpoint, humans are wired to seek acceptance because, in early history, being rejected by a group could mean danger or isolation. Even today, the brain reacts to social rejection in a way that is similar to physical pain. For a people-pleaser, this reaction is often stronger. They become highly sensitive to signs of disapproval, causing them to avoid conflict at almost any cost. Research in psychology shows that chronic people-pleasing is often linked to low self-esteem and anxiety. When a person measures their worth by how happy they make others, their sense of identity becomes unstable. They may struggle to make decisions alone or feel intense stress when faced with disagreement. Over time, constantly ignoring personal needs can lead to emotional exhaustion, resentment, and even symptoms of depression. There is also a behavioral cycle at work. When people-pleasing leads to praise or acceptance, the brain releases dopamine, a chemical linked to reward and pleasure. This reinforces the behavior, making it more likely to repeat. The person begins to associate self-sacrifice with emotional safety, even when it harms their long-term well-being. Understanding these facts is important because it removes shame from the picture. People-pleasing is not a personal weakness, it is a learned survival strategy, and like any learned pattern, it can be unlearned. With awareness, practice, and emotional courage, a person can begin to replace people-pleasing with balanced, healthy connection, where kindness toward others does not require the abandonment of oneself. Steps to stop being a people-pleaser and build your self-worth. Before we continue, please like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. Number 1. Validate yourself. At the core of people-pleasing is a fragile sense of self-worth. A people-pleaser often depends on outside approval to feel valuable. Compliments feel like oxygen. Criticism feels like suffocation. Because of this, they constantly adjust their behavior to match what others want. Many people-pleasers grew up in environments where love felt conditional. Praise came when they were obedient, quiet, or helpful. Over time, their brain learned a simple rule: I am loved when I please others. As adults, they continue to follow this rule without questioning it. Validating yourself means learning to recognize your own worth without waiting for applause. It is the quiet understanding that your feelings matter, even when no one else sees them. This is difficult for a people-pleaser because they are used to scanning the room for approval instead of listening to their inner voice. Self-validation starts with small acts. You acknowledge your emotions without judging them. If you feel tired, you admit it. If you feel hurt, you respect it. Instead of dismissing your needs as unimportant, you treat them as real and worthy of care. When you validate yourself, you begin to separate your identity from other people's opinions. You realize that disagreement does not equal rejection. This realization gently prepares you for the next important step: learning to say no. Number 2, you have the right to say no. For a people-pleaser, the word no feels dangerous. It carries the fear of conflict, disappointment, and abandonment. Saying no can trigger anxiety because it challenges the belief that approval must be earned at all costs. People-pleasers often associate refusal with guilt. Their mind creates worst-case scenarios. They will hate me. I will lose them. I will be seen as selfish. These thoughts push them to say yes even when it harms their well-being. But saying no is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of honesty. It protects your energy and defines your boundaries. Healthy relationships depend on clear boundaries, not silent sacrifice. Learning to say no requires practice. It can start with simple, respectful phrases. You do not need long explanations or excuses. A calm and direct refusal is enough. Each time you say no, your brain slowly learns that the world does not collapse. People may feel disappointed, but disappointment is not disaster. As you grow more comfortable with refusal, you create space in your life. This space is not empty. It invites something new. It allows you to think about your own goals and dreams, which leads naturally to the importance of ambition. Number 3, have ambition. People pleasers often live in the shadows of other people's expectations. They become experts at supporting others while quietly ignoring their own desires. Over time, this pattern can lead to resentment and a sense of emptiness. Ambition is not selfish. It is a healthy expression of personal direction. It answers the question, what do I want from my life? For a people pleaser, this question can feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable. Suppressing ambition can weaken self-identity. When your life revolves around pleasing others, your personal goals fade into the background. You may feel busy but unfulfilled, active but directionless. Rediscovering ambition requires curiosity. You explore your interests without guilt. You imagine a future shaped by your choices, not by other people's approval. This process can awaken fear, because ambition challenges the comfort of familiar roles. However, ambition also brings energy. It reconnects you with your sense of purpose. When you pursue your goals, you strengthen your independence and self-respect. This growing independence highlights another essential need that people pleasers often neglect: time for themselves. Number 4, have a me time. People pleasers are often surrounded by noise. They fill their schedules with commitments, favors, and responsibilities for others. In this constant activity, they rarely pause to rest or reflect. Me time is not laziness, it is mental maintenance. It allows your mind to recover from stress and reconnect with your inner world. Without it, emotional exhaustion quietly builds. Many people pleasers feel guilty when they take time for themselves. They worry about being seen as unhelpful or distant. This guilt is a sign of how deeply their identity is tied to serving others. Creating personal time is an act of balance. It can be simple: a quiet walk, reading a book, or sitting in silence. During these moments, you shift your attention inward. You listen to your thoughts and feelings without interruption. This inner attention strengthens self-awareness. You become more sensitive to what drains you and what restores you. As your awareness grows, you begin to recognize harmful patterns in your relationships. This recognition leads to an important decision: distancing yourself from toxic influences. Number 5, stay away from toxic people. People pleasers are especially vulnerable to toxic relationships. Their kindness and flexibility can attract individuals who exploit their willingness to give. These relationships often involve imbalance, where one person constantly takes and the other constantly sacrifices. Toxic people may use guilt, manipulation, or criticism to maintain control. They benefit from the people pleaser's fear of conflict and rejection. Over time, this dynamic damages self-esteem and emotional health. Recognizing toxicity requires honesty. You observe how certain relationships make you feel. Do you feel drained, anxious, or undervalued after interactions? These emotions are important signals. Distancing yourself from toxic people is not an act of hatred. It is an act of protection. It means choosing environments that support growth rather than diminish it. This step can feel painful, especially if the relationship is long-standing, but it is necessary for healing. As you reduce toxic influences, you create healthier emotional space. In this space, you can address another common habit of people pleasers: excessive apologizing. Number 6, stop apologizing. People pleasers often apologize for things that do not require apology. They say sorry for expressing opinions, taking up space, or asking for help. This habit reflects a deep fear of being seen as troublesome. Constant apologizing weakens communication. It suggests that your presence is an inconvenience. Over time, it reinforces feelings of inferiority and self-doubt. This behavior is linked to low self-worth. The apology becomes a shield against imagined criticism. It is a way to soften your existence in the eyes of others. Breaking this habit starts with awareness. You notice when apologies are unnecessary. Instead of saying sorry, you replace it with gratitude or confidence. For example, you thank someone for their patience instead of apologizing for taking time. This shift changes how you see yourself. You begin to occupy space without shame. Your voice grows steadier. You understand that respect does not come from shrinking yourself, but from standing calmly in your truth. On a final note, the journey out of people-pleasing isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about rediscovering yourself and learning to balance healthy connections with others. You learn to value kindness without sacrificing yourself. You build boundaries, nurture ambition, protect your time, and choose healthier relationships. Most importantly, you develop a quiet respect for your own needs. In that respect lies a deeper form of goodness, one that includes you as much as it includes everyone else.